So the session this week, we're going to move on from the system requirements and we're going to think about the next step. And the first step we have to take is, before we really hit design, is we have to decide what our architecture is. We've had a discussion previously about what is architecture, and my response to that is it's an answer to the question, what is important in the system? And for the 5 projects that we're talking about, these are the things that people came up with. Some of them are very specific to a particular project, like scanning the foot is particular to perfect fit. Idiom analysis is particular to sensible. But most of them are relatively generic, right? Simplicity, responsiveness, network connectivity, website, mobile application, database. They're all relatively generic. So we want to talk about UML, or we want to talk about the architecture, and there's various ways to look at the architecture. There's a logical view, a development view, a process view, and a physical view. So there's a quick listing of what they're about. So the logical view shows the key abstractions. The process view shows how the system is composed of interacting processes at runtime. The development view shows how we're actually going to build it as a developer. And the physical view shows the system hardware and how the software components are distributed across them. What I want to look at today specifically is the physical view, and I want your teams to have a look at what you really need in your physical view. Once we've got that physical view, we can start making some technology decisions. And the way I like working with the physical view is yet another UML diagram called the deployment diagram. Okay? The Unified Modeling Language, UML, has various views on a software system, and the deployment diagram is very simple. It's just a series of boxes and shapes that represent the computational resources, the computers, and the software that's run on them, and how they're connected together. So let's just see if we can find. So here's an example, very simple example of a deployment diagram. We've got 3 computational resources. We have a server over here, right? We have an iOS application, an iOS mobile device, and we have an Android or mobile device. And then running on those 3 computing resources, we have a web service on the server, we have an iOS app on the application, and we have an Android app here. Another thing we want to think about is how is this actually going to work, right? So we may need a third-party piece of software like a database. We may need a third-party piece of software like a web server, like IIS or Apache. It may be that the thing we're actually building is not going to serve out the information itself. It's just going to be wrapped inside Apache or IIS. Just because we've got an iOS app, that doesn't mean we're not going to also have to have a database over here or over here, right? So we also need to think about the components, if any, that we need specifically on each computing device, particularly if we need third-party software like a database, like some image processing, like some sentiment analysis, like some artificial intelligence that we're not going to write from scratch ourselves. So what I'm aiming to do in today's session is for each team to produce a diagram like this that tells me what you're going to have to build and the pieces you need